All right, y'all. AEW Dynamite Review on Tuesday edition because of the NHL on TNT for October 18th, 2022. I am Thanos Baines. Wow. So this MJF William Regal promo, fucking great, fantastic. Personal story from their past, very entertaining. We had 4 title matches. They're all on the screen there. There was a trios title on the line tonight. AEW Interim Women's title, ROH World title, and the AEW World title. AEW World title match ended just abruptly because Hangman Page got injured. Not sure what his injury is. Probably find out more later tonight or tomorrow. So hopefully he recovers quick, Hangman. All right, let's get to the show tonight. So we start off with trios titles on the line. Orange Cassidy and Best Friends versus Death Triangle with Alex Abrahantes accompanying them to the ring. Ray Phoenix hit a senton on Chuck for a 2 count. And then Death Triangle hit suicide dives on the outside to Orange Cassidy and Best Friends. Death Triangle triple drop kick Orange Cassidy when they're in the ring. Trent hit a tornado DDT on Ray Phoenix. Best Friends hit a half and half combo on Pac. Ray Phoenix hit a double RKO on Best Friends. Ray Phoenix hit a sit-down driver on Trent for the win. So they retain the trios tag titles. Next match, we got Toni Storm versus Ricardo Shida for the Interim Women's World title. Shida hit a drop kick, then she hit a Hurricane Rana, and then Shida hit another drop kick, this time off the top rope for a 2 count. Toni Storm hit a German suplex, then she hit another German suplex for a pin, for a 2 count. And then Toni Storm hit the Storm Zero for the win. And she retains her Interim Women's title. After the match, Britt Baker, Rebel, and Jamie Hayter come out to attack Toni Storm. Then Saraya comes out to beat up Britt Baker, and then Rio comes out to help Toni Storm to even the odds. And she's going to face Jamie Hayter next week on Dynamite. All right, next up, there's a segment in the back. FTR and Swerve in Our Glory. Pretty much saying they got 3 sets of tag titles. They're the number 1 contenders for the AEW tag titles. And they want a shot. And then Swerve in Our Glory, they interrupt the segment and they pretty much say they want a shot at tag titles too. So next week, it's going to be a number 1 contenders match for the tag titles. And we got another segment in the back. Jay Lethal challenges Darby Allin to another match. He said a couple of weeks ago, you got lucky, it was a fluke. And then Darby's like, oh, you're right, you want a rematch? I'm going to beat you up again. And then the interviewer leaves, and Darby and Jay Lethal and Sanjay Dutt start fighting. So they're in the parking lot outside the arena. They go to a garage door. Jay Lethal lowers the garage door onto Darby's ribs. And then he takes the camera crew inside and he does a figure 4 leg lock on the other side of the garage door. And break the guy's fucking ribs or some shit. So they're going to fight Jay Lethal versus Darby Allin next week. All right, next up, we got the best thing on the card tonight. MJF and William Regal promo. So Regal's already in the ring with Tony Schiavone. Before he even says anything, MJF comes out and he says, I'm going to tell you a story. You're going to listen because you owe me that. And then MJF says, when he was 19, training at a wrestling academy, he was pulled to the side by his trainers. He says, kid, we got you extra work at WWE. And he was spoken to by William Regal. Says, you're going to have tryout matches. He was with other wrestlers that were trying to make it into the business. And the guys that were watching this match was William Regal, Double A Arn Anderson, Dean Malenko, and Adam Pearce. And the first match, it was 2 other guys before MJF's match. Dean Malenko said, get out as soon as the match started. And then MJF started getting worked up. He said, pro wrestling is his life. And then Regal pulled Max away from the group And then Regal told MJF, he said, "Kid, you got 3 minutes to sell yourself to me." And Max said he did. And then Regal said he's going to get him a job. And MJF said he was going to be a superstar. William Regal asked him, "How old are you, kid?" MJF said he's 19. He says, "Kid, you're too young." And then MJF says, "You resuscitated me." He says, "Go home, work your ass off." And then he said, William Regal told him, "Every month, send me a match and a promo." So we did this for about 2-3 months. On the third month, he said, he replied, he said, "Thank you so much. I look forward to reviewing your progress." And then he sent him a promo that he had reads every single day. So MJF pulls his phone out and he reads the email. He says, "Max, I'm a very busy man. I got talent from all over the world to watch. Show me your acting skills. Do not reply to this. But how would this make me say, I know, let's hire Max? Make a name for yourself in the wrestling world and you'll get noticed. That means being a high-level performer. And when you do, trust me, I'll know. Unfortunately for you, the game has changed. The WWE hires exclusively the best talent in the world. When you're one of them, send me your stuff. Yours sincerely, William Regal." And MJF says, MJF says, "That's the email you sent to a 19-year-old kid, a child with a dream, and you squandered it. When I read that email, I wanted to quit professional wrestling. That email made me want to kill myself." So it's getting real deep here. "If I did, then you and all the naysayers would win. I couldn't have that now, could I, Will? Here we are, and have the tables turned. You are a sad, withered old man who got fired, and now you have snuck into my company like a flea-ridden rat by sticking to talent that are far better than you ever were. I'm the 26-year-old kid who is on top of this business. I'm a generational talent. I'm the man who your former employers, who would take several human lives to put pen to paper in the bidding war of 2024. I read that email every single day, not to put a chip on my shoulder. I read it whenever I need a good laugh," he says. "That is what you have to become to be. You're nothing more than a joke." And he says, "I'm about to become AEW champion of the world." And then Regal grabs a mic and he says, "You mentioned being a child at 19. At 16, I left home and went to work at a carnival and was having to fight grown men to get into this industry. I wasn't trying to cast you aside, Max. I saw exactly in you what I'm seeing now, and it's making me happy. I saw somebody that's going to be a big star. I want to light a fire under your backside. We live in a day now where you can't have grown men smashing your face in when you're 16, and when you're crying every single night and there's blood running out of every hole in your body, and you want to quit, but you won't let yourself because I'm going to be a professional wrestler. But if a bloody email is what it took to get you to this place, and you've held on to that for 7 years, you've had it easy, sunshine. You master something you seem to forget. We spent several times together where I told you this is what you need to get good at." He points at the microphone and he says this. He says, "You need to practice." When he picked up a microphone, I could see how talented you were then, before you were born. I was insulting Mr. Schiavone. I would never lay a hand on him. I'm what they call an ODV, an ordinary decent villain. Anybody that steps between the ropes, that's fair game. But you never put your hand on somebody like Mr. Schiavone. I wanted to be where you are. I knew you had it in you. Only problem is you let me down because you took shortcuts. You haven't done anything to prove anything to me just because you're getting paid here. Doesn't prove anything to me. You hire people to do your bad work for you. You wear a ring to knock people out. When I use these, he pulls out his brass knuckles and he says, "Just because I like hitting people with them. Don't take any shortcuts. Make a name for yourself by doing it right. Beat everybody that stands in front of you. If you want to be the devil, show the world right now. Or are you going to take another shortcut?" So he turns around and he says, "Act like a victim, whine and cry." And then MJF got his pinky ring on. So Regal's trying to test him, see if he's going to hit him or not. MJF doesn't hit him. And then Regal says, "You still have a lot to prove." So we're starting to see they're dropping little hints every week that MJF's going to turn babyface into the hero. I think it's going to happen after he wins the world title. So yeah, it was a great fucking promo. Fantastic storytelling here. All right, next up we got a segment in the back with Renee Paquette interviewing Bryan Danielson and Wheeler Yuta. He asked him about Daniel Garcia. Bryan says Garcia has a lot of high hopes for Garcia, and he can be the best wrestler have you ever seen. And then Wheeler Yuta just disgusted and shit, and he's pissed off. Says he's using you. He's a snake. Oh yeah, so they're trying to build tension between Yuta and Bryan Danielson. So we'll see what happens there. Next up, we got Chris Jericho versus Dalton Castle for the Ring of Honor World Title. A lot of nonsense at the beginning of the match. He was with Dalton Castle with the boys. It was just a comedy act, like another Orange Cassidy type of thing. They were just like running all over the place and like gang up and Jake Hager and stuff. It was just annoying. And finally picked up about halfway through. Dalton Castle hit a running knee, and Dalton hit a Hurricane Rana. Both guys went for a diving crossbody on each other, sending them both to the ring mat. And Dalton Castle countered the Walls of Jericho to a body scissor submission. And then Chris counters back into the Walls of Jericho. And Dalton gets to the ropes. Castle hit a clothesline for a 2 count. And then Dalton hit a German suplex for a near fall. Jericho hit the Judas Effect for the win. After the match, Jericho Appreciating Society comes out and are about to attack the Ring of Honor commentator. And then Jerry Lynn comes out to save the Ring of Honor commentator. He grabs the belt, and then Jericho beats the shit out of him, and then he tombstones Jerry Lynn onto the title. Don't care about Ring of Honor stuff. He's just destroying every champion. Even though they haven't had that many shows, 1 or 2 shows all year, Ring of Honor. All right, next up we got the AEW World Title. Hangman Adam Page versus Jon Moxley. Page jumps Moxley during his entrance, and then he climbed onto a platform near the stands, and he hit a moonsault off of it on the Moxley. Back from the break, Moxley's bleeding again. Breaking news, Moxley's bleeding in another match. Adam Page hit a suplex. Jon Moxley applied the figure 4. And then he let go of it. Page hit a fallaway slam. Mox hit an RKO. Mox hit a superplex off the top rope back from the commercial break. Adam Page hit a fallaway slam off of the top rope this time. And then Jon Moxley clothesline Page. He turned inside out. So when I saw this on the replay, he like grabbed his shoulder right after this. So it looks like he might have a broken collarbone, but I'm not sure. So the doctor came in and he stopped the match. And that was it. So Moxley retains due to injury. Hopefully Hangman Page can come back soon. And then after the match, Moxley basically calls out MJF. So MJF brings out a ref and his casino chip to see if he's going to cash in or not. And they're about to square off in the ring. And then in the last second, MJF leaves. And then MJF grabs a mic and says he's not going to take shortcuts. He says he doesn't want Moxley at 50%. He wants him at 110%. I'm cashing in at Full Gear for the world title. And he says, for the first time in my life, I'm going to earn it. So pretty good build up so far for the world title in the early stages. Pretty obvious MJF's going to win the title at Full Gear, and he's going to become a babyface after he wins it. So I don't know. We'll see how good his babyface run will be after this, or after he wins the world title. And there's another injury, so I think we're going to have to see some new guys step up to the main event scene for the world title. Probably be Real Yuta or Daniel Garcia or somebody else that's new. So yeah, that was pretty much it for Dynamite. See you guys.